Joining me right now is Florida Senator, Senate Homeland Security Committee and Armed Forces Committee member, and NRSC Chairman Rick Scott. Senator, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. And our heart breaks, all of us. I know you were governor of Florida during the 2018 Parkland shooting, so you know the feeling well. You are now calling on your colleagues in Washington to pass school safety legislation. What should it look like? What changes should be made now that we recognize this is not stopping?
Well, first off, this is disgusting. I think all of us sort of internalize this. You think about your own family. I've got grandkids in grade school. And I think about those 17 families that lost loved ones at Parkland. I've even talked to some of them. What you've got to do is you got to say, okay, so what is the problem, and let's solve it. I did that when I was governor. We put together a task force on mental illness, on how do we make our schools safer, what do we do to share information, work with our law enforcement. We've got to do the same thing up here, but unfortunately the Democrats want to block it. We had a bill yesterday we took to the floor that would basically codify a clearinghouse to give parents more information about the safety of their schools, and Chuck Schumer went to the floor and blocked it. We've tried to pass a bill that would have the Secret Service increase their efforts on school safety through the Threat Assessment Center. The Democrats block it. So it's like we've got to do some common sense things here and say, what should we do that would prevent, whether it was Uvalde or Parkland or Buffalo? Let's focus on the things that would actually solve problems. Don't do things because they sound good from a political soundbite. So that's what we have to do. It's important to every family in this country. It cannot happen again.
Well, I mean, you're right. And, it was just disgusting to see lawmakers and, politicians use this moment as a way to push their ideologies and their gun policy proposals. I mean, Beto O'Rourke embarrassed himself yesterday. That was ridiculous. Chuck Schumer attacking the other side, the Republicans, for this. I mean, this is obviously something we all should come together and increase the security in schools. Do something that hasn't been tried. Meanwhile, there's the wide open border. I mean, this area, Uvalde, just how many miles away from the wide open border? And you've got 50,000 illegal migrants in Mexico waiting just outside of the southern border right now to cross, but a federal judge has ruled to keep Title 42 in place. I don't know if the administration is blowing off the law or keeping the Title 42 in place, but Axios is reporting that there's at least 8,000 migrants trying to cross every day, and DHS tracking between 40 and 50,000 people wanting to cross. Senator, I've had border agents myself tell me there's 7,000 to 8,000 people getting encountered every day. That doesn't even include the gotaways. There's 100,000 gotaways in the last 6 months. We don't know their intentions. They're in the country. We don't know where they're going. They were seen through surveillance cameras. So what's the solution here?
The only solution we can have is Joe Biden needs to resign. I mean, I don't get this. He wants an open border. I mean, Secretary of Homeland Security comes to Mayorkas and says, oh, the border's secure. Complete lie. I mean, they have clearly made the decision. We are going to have an open border. They don't care. They don't care about that over 100,000 people died of drug overdoses, a lot of it from fentanyl made in China coming across the southern border. They don't care that there's terrorists come across. They've already caught 45 people on the terrorist watch list since Biden got elected. How many didn't we catch? They don't care that a National Guard member died saving some migrants coming across, and those migrants were bringing in drugs. They don't care about any of this stuff. The Democrats I don't get it. Countries have borders. It's real simple. We need to finish the wall, get our security going, and we got to make sure people want to come and live our life the way we want to live it. We want them here. I'm from an immigration state, but I don't want drugs. I don't want terrorists. I don't want criminals. I want people who want to live our dream coming into this country. We have to fix our legal immigration system and secure a border today.
Yeah, well, he's not. I mean, there's fentanyl coming across, killing our citizens, 107,000 people dead because of overdose related to fentanyl. I mean, what is it going to take for this president to acknowledge the fentanyl threat? He's going to Texas to visit the families, and it's only a few miles away from the border. Do you think he will go to the southern border?
No. And by the way, think about, I can tell you a story. A mom I talked to, her 21-year-old son came home from the Air Force just to see her for her birthday. He goes out with some friends. One guy gives him a Xanax he bought online. Within 5 minutes, this young man's dead. That's what's going on across this country. And the Biden administration and the Democrats will do absolutely nothing. I'm on Homeland Security. We should be doing investigations right now to say, why isn't our border secure? But no, we won't do any investigations because that might embarrass the Biden administration. This administration is not good for this country.
Well, what really worries me is this tin ear that we see. I mean, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office is forecasting that inflation is supposed to cool as economic growth slows later this year. But let's face it. I mean, we're talking about massive increases in all of the goods that we buy every day. CPI may be up 8.3% year over year, but the price of lettuce is up 13%. The price of fish is up 17%. The price of an airline ticket year over year up 33%. So Americans are, seeing their wages burn up as a result of this inflation in America, and yet we're not seeing any pivot whatsoever from this administration. So it almost feels like they're ignoring the fact that their policy has stoked some of the most important price hikes. Look at eggs. Eggs up 22.6% year over year. So you can't really say inflation is running at 8% when you've got the stuff we buy every day up in the double digits.
And it's like, who do they think they're helping? I mean, maybe the rich people are going to keep getting richer because their assets go up, but poor families, people on fixed income, people that are working day to day to make ends meet, their wages don't stay up. So who's it hurting? It's hurting the poorest families in this country. It's like my mom growing up. I lived in public housing. She struggled. I remember it. Do I put gas in the car? Do I put food on the table to feed my kids? That's what's going on. People are having to go to food banks that have never gone to a food bank ever. This is wrong what the Biden administration is doing and Democrats.
Yeah. Or do I go to the doctor? I mean, making such a decision, do I put food on the table or go and deal with a medical issue? It's extraordinary. Senator, thanks very much. Thanks for your leadership on all of that. We'll be watching your move, Senator Rick Scott in Florida this morning, in D.C. this morning, pardon me. All right, we will take a short break and come right back. We're live in Davos this morning. We've got an interview with Brian Moynihan, CEO of Bank of America. Back in a minute.